wanting to, or was hoping that we would have sung one carol, but maybe next week. Next week we won't be here, will we? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to preach now. But why I was saying that is today I want to invite all of you on our lunch break. But first, we all take our lunch break together. And I want to invite you to follow me to the mall, help me with a shopping expedition. I've got to pick out a gift for my best friend. I'm well aware that this is rather difficult for some of us, this Christmas shopping thing, for several different reasons. Some are dissatisfied with what they think they're going to get, so they don't want it in the first place, feel it's demeaning. But I still want to invite you to join me for lunch, and let's go on a Christmas shopping extravaganza. Others of you are deeply concerned about the wisdom of spending too much this holiday season, if anything at all, due to the general condition of the economy today. I still want to invite you to join me for lunch. Let's go Christmas shopping. The others that don't get too excited about the prospect of getting together with family because of a family member that always has a special knack for getting on your very last nerve. When they're around, you just don't know what to do. Come on, preacher. But I want to invite you to join me for lunch. Let's go shopping. Still others in this family thing find it difficult because of a family member that is missing for the first time this Christmas. Elder's sister-in-law is now gone. That's going to have an impact on the whole family. Still want to invite you to go with me for lunch, for Christmas shopping. Still others question whether or not Christians who are waiting for the Lord's soon return ought to be participating in this celebration whose roots stem from a pagan holiday. Guess what? I'm still inviting you to join me for lunch, and let's go Christmas shopping. By the way, our prophetess does have this to say. She says the holiday season is fast approaching with its interchange of gifts, and old and young are intently studying what they can bestow upon their friends as a token of affection, remembrance. It is pleasant to receive a gift, however small, from those we love. It is an assurance that we are not forgotten and seems to bind us to them a little closer. It is right. I'm quoting from a little red book. It's called Adventist Home, page 478. She says, it is R-I-G-H-T, Adventist Home. It is right to bestow upon one another tokens of love and remembrance, if we do not in this forget God, our best friend. I try to be a friendly person, so I have a lot of friends, but I decided I'd let our prophetess tell me who our best friend's supposed to be. That's supposed to be the Lord. And He says it is fine for us. In fact, it is right for us to remember others as long as we don't forget two things. Number one, make him your very best friend. Number two, and that we don't forget to do the best for him. Here's a way that many forget about Jesus. He says, then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. If we get into this Christmas shopping thing and forget Jesus, we're making a drastic mistake. And he says that if we do not do it unto the least, we have forgotten about Jesus. There's one that has to be classified as the very least, among the least. That's our personal enemies. As long as we don't forget Jesus, and we forget Jesus when we do not do it unto the least of these our brethren, as long as we don't forget Jesus, we're fine. We can have a good time Christmas shopping for lunch. But if we leave out our enemies, we are leaving out Jesus. What type of gift would Jesus want us to give to him as the least of our brethren, our enemies? Let's observe a special way that the Lord treated his enemies. Is that all right? Matthew 21, verse 12 and 13. This is our theme text for this morning, Matthew 21, verse 12 and 13. And Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, it is written, my house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. Now, what is Jesus doing in our text? He's running the dishonest and the shady folk out of town, so that the crooked places could be straight and the rough places plain. Someone might be thinking, I wouldn't mind giving this type of present to all of my enemies. Yes, but I'm not sure that you're seeing all that the Lord has inside this special gift. In a word, how can we characterize what Jesus is doing? Is he praising the money changers? Is he? No. Is he admiring the money changers? Is he flattering them? Is he rebuking them? Yes, he is. What frame of mind do we find Jesus in while he is rebuking the money changers? To discover the frame of mind while he's rebuking the money changers, we have to consider the context. Matthew 21, verse 6 through 11, read it through when you get back to your desk. But we find that Christ has just finished with the grand entry into Jerusalem, riding on a donkey. Luke tells us something about the attitude or the state of mind that Christ was in when this took place. 19th chapter of Luke, verse 39, and the next 2 or 3 verses. And some of the Pharisees from among the multitude said unto him, Master, rebuke thy disciples. And he answered and said unto them, I tell you that if these should hold their peace, the stones would immediately cry out. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, If thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. What frame of mind was Christ in? He was weeping. He was in the frame of mind of grieving. What was he grieving over? He was grieving over those who refused to allow him the privilege of saving them. Now, how do we know that Jesus is of this same frame of mind while he is chasing the money changers out? I found this statement in the book Desire of Ages. She says, page 353, he fearlessly denounced hypocrisy, unbelief, and iniquity, but tears were in his voice as he uttered his scathing rebukes. He wept over Jerusalem, the city he loved, and refused to receive him, the way, the truth, and the life. They rejected him, the Savior, but he regarded them with pitying tenderness and sorrow so deep that it broke his heart. In other words, Jesus gave the gift of tears, weeping, grieving. To understand what's going on here, we have to almost be a parent. Because in parenting your youngins, you know, you try to pour into them and you try to instruct them in the way that they're supposed to go. And sometimes after you've done your level best, the very thing that you tell them not to do for their good is the very thing that they rush off to do. How do you feel? Yes, you're upset that they didn't listen, but it breaks your heart. You grieve over them. Don't let them continue in that course. You will find it difficult to sleep at night. You will find yourself getting up with your pillow wet with perspiration, and your face, you wash it in tears. Because they're not allowing you the privilege of leading them safely in the way that they should go. Now, what does all of this have to do with our enemies? Let's take a look at our duty towards our enemies. Romans chapter 12, beginning at verse 18, it says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peacefully with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. When you go to your enemy to try to make matters right, you haven't given your enemy a thing. You're doing your duty. When your enemy is hungry and you feed him, you haven't given your enemy one blessed thing. You're doing your duty. That's what we're supposed to do. When your enemy is getting up in your face and you pray for him, that's your duty. That's not a gift. Where's the gift that we can give to our enemies? The gift comes after you've done your level best to live peacefully with your enemy. You fed him when he was hungry. You provided water when he was thirsty. After all of that, he still won't come around. It's at this point that you can give a gift to your enemy. If you're going to be like Jesus, you might just try the gift of tears, weeping. If you've known what was best for you, I could have been a support to you. Jesus gave the gift of grieving when he could do nothing more. He gave the gift of tears instead of becoming revengeful. Instead of becoming revengeful in dealing with our enemies, instead of letting bitterness swell up inside of us, how about giving them a gift? How about the gift of tears or the gift of pity, the gift of mercy, the gift of grief? Remember, Jesus said, when you do it unto the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. You want to get a real good gift for Jesus? We don't even have to go to the mall. All we've got to do is go into the deep recesses of our hearts. Pull out a few of those who haven't been kind to you. Pull out a few of those who have been downright ornery, and give them, instead of bitterness, give them what Jesus gave his enemies, the gift of tears. You do it unto your enemy, you're doing it unto Jesus. Merry Christmas. What are you going to give to Jesus for Christmas?